I'm intrigued to know what it'll be like when we get there.
Happy.
Excited?
Yeah.
Hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful as well.
Good word. Yeah, hopeful, yeah.
Intrepidatious.
I'm like intrigued to see how a march is in such changing times.
Good morning.
Amazing.
Fine, how are you? Hi Kaska, how are you?
It's a cold, sunny morning on 25th of October 2025, and we're sitting on the bus from Dundee. We're on our way to a march and rally in Edinburgh, organised by the Poverty Alliance as part of the Scotland Demands Better campaign. I'm chatting with a group of people from community organisations that make up the Dundee Changemaker Hub. For some, it's their first time joining a peaceful protest. Others are seasoned activists. There's a mix of feelings about the day ahead: hope, determination and excitement, but also a sense of unease and uncertainty about whether our voices will really be listened to. Will any of this make any difference? I end up speaking to Sandy, who shares her personal experience as a lifelong activist and talks about how the magic of people coming together for a cause like this in a peaceful protest can resonate throughout the lives of individuals involved, local communities and wider society.
Biscuits going around from me, El. Does anyone want a biscuit?
It's not your first protest, is it? It's definitely not my first protest. I don't know how many protests I've been on, but probably a fair few.
Yeah. So do you actually remember your first one?
I don't think I do, but I did live on a road protest for months when I was about 16. There's a great way of getting to know how to stand with people and how to put up with people's idiosyncrasies and like annoying habits, but actually also see the things that do pull us together. And that's definitely learned a lot about that. I guess it was back in the late 80s, early 90s. There was a lot of road protests. There was Twyford Down outside Winchester, and then there was Newborough near Oxford. Then there was the protests at Fairfield in Devon.
So these are protests about building
big roads. I knew all those protests relatively well. I was part of the New Age Traveller community. I remember the police, they used to come down and say, how can you amass so many people together? Do you have like CB radios and stuff like that? And we'd be like, no. And there was no such thing as mobile phones. I mean, we had the power of speech and like we were connected and we talked to each other. And yeah, it was amazing. We used to do crazy things and people used to like attach themselves to diggers, and we used to go and dig big holes, you know, thinking they would stop JCBs getting across them. I don't know, putting sugar in petrol diesel tanks and like really, obstructive things, because there was a lot of passion around the land that was being destroyed for cars. And I mean, it was Thatcher government. There was a lot of distaste, a lot of social issues around the miners' strikes. The Travellers community had the Beanfield riots. There was a lot of issues at that time. You know, people were really concerned about it. So, yeah.
Yeah, on my placard it says, learn from history, poverty fuels fascism.
That side says, let the olive branches thrive in peace, free Palestine. The other side says something about freeing Marwan Barghouti.
Then I moved up to Scotland actually and joined M77 protest out in Pollock Park.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 1994 to 97. And I mean, it was in Pollock Park, the city's park, the people's park, donated as a legacy. And as you came into the park, there was a tarp set up over a fire. There was people living in the woods. There was people living in like roughly made tree houses within the trees. There was a big soup kitchen where food was brought and food was gathered from all over the place, and there was people doing all sorts of different things to entertain themselves, like playing guitars and playing cards while they sat about. kids running around barefoot and a little bit grubby. There was just like wooden carvings everywhere. Colin MacLeod, he was a really interesting guy. He was an amazing wood carver, like prolific everywhere. And the thing with Pollock was an area of pretty high unemployment, a lot of social issues, and I think maybe a community that didn't feel listened to generally. And Colin managed to build, Colin and Johan, his partner, and their wee baby, managed to build and bring together people in this community that created connections, and maybe connections that people hadn't felt for a long time. And people started giving time and staying there and dropping off food and dropping off blankets when the school kids got involved, and like it was amazing. I think it changed so many people's lives at that time.
You know it's bad when a straight white guy makes a sign.
No nuclear, and we mean no nuclear weapons, no nuclear power.
System change, not climate change, I think. Yeah.
So did the Pollock Park protest actually stop the road going through?
No, the road is there. We all drive on it all the time now. The trees came down, people cried. Yeah, I think it still brings up a lot of emotion now for people, because, you know, it brought an end to that whole community feel like no one knew what would be next. Actually, we now know Gale still exists, and they have a community centre, the community garden, and
so
still
Gale is the organisation
that grew out of Pollock road protest. Definitely. Colin actually passed away after setting it up as an employment project in Govan, but it still exists today.
It says active inquiry, theatre, dialogue and change.
It says poverty is bad for our mental health.
This is not the only way out.
In this camp there was like true, reawakenings and connection, and lots of singing and lots of hippie behaviour, you know, lots of like silliness and fun and getting up to mischief, and you know, but actually it really affected politics in lots of different ways, all those road protests. There's like research done now around the fact that, you know, a lot of people didn't actually join the Insulate UK protest, but a lot more people joined Friends of the Earth, a lot more people voted for Green. So sometimes the more extreme end of protest, some people say, oh, it does a bit more negative and it's not so good, but actually there is an understanding that it plays a really positive part in the bigger picture of joining people to less subversive ways of creating change.
This is not the only way out. Save our public services. This is not
Glasgow EIS Local Association, the Educational Institute of Scotland, it's the trades union.
Dundee Trades Union Council.
The RS21, which is revolutionary socialism in the 21st century.
I remember I just arrived in Scotland then, and I still have so many, like my core friend group still exists from that time.
And you obviously chose to stay in Scotland.
I did, yeah. Well, I didn't really have a home anyway, so yeah, Scotland is definitely home for me. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm still here and happy and feel part of community and part of Dundee.
And as an activist, how would you define yourself?
I just see myself as someone who really likes people who I understand, but also lots of people I really don't understand, and I just want to know how they tick, or what interests them, or what they enjoy, or why they think something, or do you know what I mean?
So what's the purpose of the activism for you?
I'm looking at the 3 bridges across to Fife from Edinburgh side, and I guess it's to build bridges. There's only 2 there, there's one back there. But it's to build bridges Like I really, I run ScrapAntics, which is a community organisation, social justice, social enterprise. So we do so many things, but really what we do is we have a scrap store that resources projects, a community centre that is a space for everyone to share, and we have a really broad range of freelance artists and employees that help to build projects. So we're not here to compete, but we're here to just bolster anyone else's projects, and we partner with so many organisations to fulfil our own. And the whole idea is to create community, to give people the resilience to withstand whatever is coming, and to be part of designing how we move forward.
It's quite emotional seeing everybody coming together. We've got so much in common, and it's a shame, like, when you go for one cause, it seems like they're just for that one, but actually if we all supported all our different causes, we'd make a much bigger voice.
And what was the march today? Can you tell me from your perspective?
Yeah, the march today was called Scotland Demands Better. And my understanding of this was that it was a non-specific political party march. And so it was for people from any walks of life and ideologies and ethoses and ethnicities and cultures, just to come together to demand that the Scottish Government take the social wealth of our country more seriously. And in an equitable way. So we're asking for better housing and better healthcare and better education and better services, and a recognition of people from all walks of life. We were in between Voices of Harmony and different churches, I think, and the pro-Palestinian groups. So it was, even in that, you've got three very different sort of groups of people coming together. I don't know where we fitted in and all that, but we definitely had a hoot. And then the communists were behind us as well, and they're quite a rowdy bunch, so that was fun.
They were loud, weren't they?
They were. What I really enjoyed the most is just, even in the 20 people that we took, how different they all are, and actually maybe some of them wouldn't meet unless we'd done this today. And yeah, just even in our small group, really diverse, different parts of Dundee, even though we're all from Dundee, and just like having a chance to share a bit of time and walk together and just catch up on the hop. We took 4 young people for ages from, I don't know, maybe 5 to 14, so definitely their first marches. And yeah, it's really great for people to see other people standing up for what you believe in. And like really hopefully encourages young people to see that people power, because I think in the culture of individualism as we are now, it's sometimes hard to remember that actually we all want the same thing. I think for me part of it is supporting change, is that we need to support others to make the change they need, even if it's not the change you need personally. But also it was about taking a community or members of a community in Dundee together to something, and it's that act that emboldens and enables people to realise their own abilities to create change.
Magic!